how do you describe this warrior ethos, and how does it show up in your practice? And then also, like, how does that impact your hiring, like with your team?
Yeah, so generally the way I see warrior ethos is, to quote Sylvester Stallone in Rocky, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. And I have a whole saying about our core values, which is it has to start with integrity. Integrity is what you do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. When you have integrity, then you must commit to your team. And when you commit, guess what happens? People hold you accountable. And you're accountable for that extreme ownership, right? Everything that happens in your world that you touch, you control it. Once you have all those, no doubt, warrior ethos comes along. That's where you're leading, and then you get kicked in the teeth, and you get knocked down. And that's where you got to get back up. And when you're doing that, you're leading by example, which is being the teammate that you want. So those are all 5 of our core values. But to touch on what warrior ethos, really is, it's not, Russell Crowe in a loincloth holding up a sword in the middle of the Coliseum. It's a team of soldiers kicking in a door to clear a building where we've got everybody's back. We're coming in with all of our firepower. We're going all in, and we're not going to leave a fallen comrade. We know that no one's going to leave us behind, but we're going to accomplish this mission together. So warrior ethos, like I said, is not some dude in a loincloth holding a sword. Warrior ethos is a team of warriors fighting together, making sure we all get better every day.
I love the team component. And when I think of leading, and no one likes to be managed or supervised, but they like to be led and leading by example. You're out on the front. It makes me think of that. And, the other thing is on your site, in terms of your positioning, it says, you have a team of attorneys, a team versus one attorney. So how is that different? Is that just how you're internally structured? Because I'm a non-attorney here, so I've heard some individuals top-down hierarchy, and then others do, cross-functional pods. Like, what's it look like in actually working up this case and working as a team internally?
Let me tell you this. As soon as I started really teamwork in jury trials, I started winning a lot more. And I noticed that was the biggest difference, was teamwork. Now, we still will run a focus group, which requires teamwork, because we need teams to, help us set it up, right? The logistics of a focus group. But always have co-counsel when you try a case. And if you can't have co-counsel, case may not be big enough for you. But I would say that in preparing the case, you need people who have strengths. I had a federal case last year. Look, I enjoy legal arguments, but I don't care about the black letter of the law like some people do, right? It's not my obsession. I'm here to win. And for me, that's the excitement of the courtroom. I'm too old and fat to play football anymore. I can't jump out of airplanes. But by God, I can get in the courtroom and I can have that same experience. And it's competitive and it's doing the same thing, protecting somebody's rights. So I love to get into that, but I'm not great at everything. And so I tried a federal case in January of last year. And I had a lawyer with me that did a phenomenal job on the legal side. It's kind of like Jerry Spence. He had, the guy that took care of, every sidebar objection he had prepared, written. He was prepared for everything right before trial, and he just destroyed the opposition. They were no way prepared for this. And my strengths were in the voir dire and opening statement and cross-examining the witnesses, but really letting him get in there and just tear apart the legal arguments. I think when you have a team approach, everybody has unique abilities, things we do better than everybody else, but nobody's the best at everything. Now, some lawyers can't work as teams, and I've worked with lawyers like that, where we've been in trial and we've been fighting each other. I'm like, dude, we're on the same team here. Like, we don't need to be fighting. We should be working together. And so it doesn't always work. But I've tried a lot of cases with my wife, who's a phenomenal trial attorney. And if I can work with someone who raises the energy level, like I just become so much better. And so in my mind, if you have a team member, it's like you have higher level of accountability, but you also have this higher level of commitment, right? Because it's like, okay, we're committed to the client and we're committed to each other. We're in this case to win this case, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help you. And my expectation is that when I'm on the stage up there, you're helping me. And so I can't stress how important it is to have a team. I love it that our paralegals get heavily involved in our cases. And look, I've seen solos out there who are phenomenal lawyers, but then they get in trial and they struggle because, they got to pick up the phone and call the people who called them earlier in the day. They got to run around and do all these law firm administration things, and they can't focus, right? And if you can't focus on the most important thing that's going on right now, you're not going to be as good as the guy next to you who's completely focused. So in my mind, it is all about focus, and you cannot focus without a team. And so, if you have a law firm, you got to grow it. You got to grow it so that you can have the support to be the best lawyer you can be, so that you're not doing all the stuff you're mediocre at just to run the firm. You're wasting time. I mean, think of the greatest athletes in the world. Right? Do you think they sit around and do you think they make their own meals? No, they know they need to eat healthy, but they've got a trainer telling them what to eat. They've got somebody else making their meals, and they're showing up to compete every single day. And so that's my job as a lawyer for my clients, to show up and compete. Do I need to worry about payroll? No. If I'm a good enough lawyer, I should be able to pay someone to do that. And I know that may sting for some people, but that's the way you got to think about it. If you want to be a great lawyer, you don't have to be a great businessman. Hire a great law firm administrator, and then graduate and hire a great COO. But if you want to be a great lawyer, you need discipline and you need focus. And you can't focus when you're doing everything.